Have you ever heard a sound in the middle of the night that just didn't feel right? A sound that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Tonight's story is about a knock at the door, but this is no ordinary visitor. This is the story of Kevin, a man who found out that some doors should never, ever be opened. Kevin lived alone in a small wooden house tucked away at the very edge of town. It was quiet, peaceful, and miles from anyone. He'd moved there to escape the noise of the city, to find a silence that could soothe his mind. He enjoyed the solitude, the feeling of being the only person for miles around. But on this particular night, the silence felt wrong. It was heavy, oppressive, like a thick blanket smothering the world. Rain lashed against his windows, a relentless drumming that seemed to echo the beating of his own heart. He was sitting in his armchair, lost in a book, when he heard it. A knock at the door. Not a frantic banging or a polite tap. It was 3 slow, deliberate knocks, each one perfectly spaced. Asterisk, knock, knock, knock. Asterisk, he glanced at the clock. It read 11:58 p.m. Who on earth would be out here at this hour, in this weather? He told himself it was just the wind, a loose branch maybe, tapping against the frame. He waited, holding his breath, hoping the sound wouldn't return, and then it did. Asterisk, knock, knock, knock. Asterisk, this time it was louder, more insistent. It felt like the sound was vibrating through the floorboards, right into his bones. A tremor ran through his voice as he called out, "Who's there?" The only reply was the sound of the storm, the distant rumble of thunder, and the incessant rain. He felt a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. This wasn't normal. He reached for his phone, maybe to call someone, or just to have the reassuring light in his hand. That's when he saw it. A new text message. It was from Grace, his nearest neighbor, who lived almost a kilometer down the winding wooded road. His heart skipped a beat as he read her message. It said, "Don't open the door. I see someone outside your house." Kevin froze, his mind racing. How could she possibly see his porch from that far away, especially on a night like this, with the rain coming down in sheets? It was impossible. His hand shaking, he crept towards the front window. He carefully pulled back the edge of the curtain, just a tiny fraction of an inch, and peered out into the darkness. The porch was empty. There was nothing there but the slick, wet wooden steps, glistening under the faint glow of the porch light. He let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. Maybe Grace was mistaken. Maybe she saw a shadow, a trick of the light. He quickly typed back a reply. "There's no one here." His phone buzzed almost instantly with her response. They were standing there just a minute ago, in a long raincoat. They weren't moving, just standing there looking at your door. A profound chill, colder than the rainy night air, snaked its way down his spine. The image of a still, silent figure in the rain sent a fresh wave of fear through him. Acting on pure instinct, he reached over and switched off the living room lamp, plunging the room into near total darkness, save for the pale, ghostly glow of his phone screen. And in that sudden, heavy silence, it came again. Another knock. But this one was different. It was slower, heavier. Each impact felt personal. It was as if whatever or whoever was out there knew he was standing just on the other side of the door, listening, waiting. It knew he was afraid. He stumbled backward, away from the door, his throat tight with terror. "I'm calling the police," he whispered to himself, the words barely audible. But before he could even dial the number, a new sound cut through the noise of the storm. It was a sound that made his blood run cold. Footsteps. But they weren't outside on the porch. They were inside the house. Coming from the back, his breath hitched. He fumbled for the heavy-duty flashlight he kept on the mantelpiece, his fingers clumsy with panic. He switched it on, and the powerful beam cut a path through the darkness, slicing down the long hallway. The beam landed on the kitchen door at the far end. It was wide open, swinging slightly on its hinges. He was certain, absolutely positive. He had locked it earlier in the evening. He always did. It was part of his routine. A cold sweat broke out on his forehead. It wasn't just asterisk at asterisk the door anymore. It was in the house with him. Just then, his phone vibrated violently in his hand, making him jump. It was another text from Grace. "Police are on their way. Stay where you are." He quickly typed back, his fingers slipping on the screen. "Someone's inside." A few seconds passed, which felt like an eternity. Then, her reply came through, and the words on the screen made the world stop. "Kevin, I just saw you through the window. You're standing on your porch." His mind reeled. That was impossible. He wasn't on the porch. He was standing right here in his living room, clutching a flashlight. He was in the dark, terrified. What was she seeing? Was she losing her mind? Or was he? The flashlight in his hand began to flicker, its beam stuttering erratically. He shook it, frustrated, and turned his head toward the dark glass of the front door. And that's when he saw it. He saw his own reflection staring back at him from the glass. But it wasn't his reflection. Not really. The figure in the glass was him, same clothes, same panicked expression, but there was one horrifying difference. The reflection was smiling. A wide, unnatural, predatory smile that didn't reach its eyes. The lights in the house went out completely, plunging him into absolute, suffocating blackness. 10 minutes later, the police arrived. They found the front door hanging wide open, swinging gently in the wind. The living room was empty, a book lying face down on the floor, and on the wooden floorboards they found a trail of muddy footprints. The strange part, the footprints started from inside the house, leading out onto the porch, and then vanishing into the rain-swept night. Kevin was gone. He was never seen or heard from again. This story leaves us with a chilling thought. Some knocks are not meant to be answered, and some reflections Some reflections shouldn't exist at all. What do you think happened to Kevin? Let me know your theories down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story and want more tales from the dark, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Stay safe and always check who's knocking.